It's time to get hot and bothered.
Oh, my.
You're tuned into the Talking Heat podcast with Hot Sauce Guide and FGC.
Turk, Slug, how you doing?
Can't
Doing
complain.
all right.
Another day, another dollar.
How's your week?
Oh, Turk had a little bit of a bachelor week, or at least weekend. I had a really good week. I got to do nothing. I've been playing a lot of video games, trying to get ready, because I'll be kind of busy during the holiday season with different traveling and visiting family. So I'm taking this week to myself. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be busy.
A little bit of pampering. Good to hear. How's a bachelor life, Turk?
I mean, it was like less than 30 or 72 hours, but it was all right. It was good. I kind of I forgot what it was like to be solely responsible for Kylo. Normally we split the responsibilities, but me waking up like an hour before work and having to like feed, walk, and do my normal routine just caused me to be late like 3 days. But that's okay. She's back now, and they're just cuddling on the couch. So life has returned to normalcy. How about yourself,
Awesome.
there, Hot Sauce Guide?
Good. Work's been kind of crazy, but getting through the holiday season. So it's all been good. Looks like in at least one fantasy football league, I've got a bye going into next week, and I'm hoping for the other one as well. So
Yeah, had to
Brown,
rub it in.
Browns won today, so life is good. But so I'm super excited.
I
You
don't
don't
have
think?
10 wins in I don't have 10 wins in 3 or 4 leagues. This has been the worst fantasy year I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, you lost to Andre, so it couldn't get any worse.
The NFL just waits for me to set my lineup, and then they roll people out when I'm not looking. It's all fixed. Roger Goodell sucks.
It's not how it works at all.
Yeah, it is.
It's not how
It's
it
all
works at all.
conspiracy theory. They're all against me. Big football's against Slug.
I have heard that rumor. But so, guys, today I'm pretty excited. We've got Rich from Little Dick's Hot Sauce. I have tried all of their hot sauce, and it's super delicious. So I'm super excited to kind of hear his story. And Rich, how you doing? Awesome. Can't complain. We're
Thanks.
super excited that you could come on today.
Very excited to talk with you.
Nope, just saying, I'm out here in New York, and good to you guys are all around the country, it seems like. So it's kind of cool to have a podcast with you guys, in different places, putting this all together. So very cool.
Yeah, we're in three different time zones, which is pretty neat. And I make everything much more difficult being on the most leftmost time zone. So I make everything. I throw a lot of wrenches in all of their plans. It's pretty fun.
I don't know. No matter where Slug is, he's in his own time zone. So
I am.
he's on his own. He does his own thing.
I'm a wizard. I show up when
but
exactly I'm supposed to.
Okay.
So
Come on, you nerds. You never read The Lord of the Rings? You never watched a movie before?
Yes.
You're going to act like that's not the funniest thing you've heard all day? Come on. Gandalf stand right here. All right, sorry. Back to you, boss.
So we was kind of just like starting off the podcast, finding out a little more about you. So who are you and what do you do outside of hot sauce?
All right. Well, then let's start with Richmond Darrow, also known as Little Dick, and I'll put it out there right up front where it all comes from because it's usually the first question. But my dad's name is Richard. My name is Richard, and I have a son named Richard. So therefore, we got Big Dick, Little Dick, and Baby Dick. So it's
your son.
Right. I didn't get the worst of it.
Yeah, no, your son.
But no, my dad literally grew up, in Brooklyn, and he was known as Dick growing up, Uncle Dick, and all his buddies called him that. Obviously, it's a name that maybe isn't as popular as it used to be, but we still have Dick Sporting Goods and some other ones. So when we were figuring out, my wife and I, when we were putting together, you hear about, she and I were the ones who kind of decided to start Little Dick Sauces during COVID pandemic when we had some more time on our hands, like most people And so we were able to. That's the background of the name. And I'm always, when I see someone, I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Little Dick. Come on over. You like hot sauce, and it kind of breaks the ice. And we figured you could have a lot of fun with it, and people have a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of fun. More and more I'm known when I walk into places as Little Dick more than Rich anymore. So I guess it comes with the territory, but hopefully that's all I'll be known by one day, and it'll be real popular. But I live here in New York. I'm a native New Yorker. Went to school for engineering, so I got a little bit of technology behind me. I'm an electrical engineer. Then I went to law school. So that's the other half of me. When I was growing up, my parents owned a catering business, and I grew up pretty much, working weekends, cooking food and delivering food to houses and halls. And my mom would cook all week with another woman. And that's sort of where the foodie in me came in. And I've always grown up, loving food. All the Mendaros in my family, all the men love to cook. And that's kind of stuck with me. And that's where the hot sauce thing kind of came in. But as I say, I'm an attorney by day, and I sling hot sauce by night. So doing intellectual property and patent and trademark work.
So it kind of makes you like Superman of the hot sauce world.
Maybe. I mean,
secret identity, most certainly.
I took my cape off.
As an engine. Yeah, exactly. Right now, just being casual. Get it air cleaned. Get it dry cleaned. Now, Rich, I got to know, if engineering, law school, mother worked with a catering business, what was the catalyst to get you into a hot sauce game?
So about 15 years ago, I always liked to grill. I had a smoker in my backyard, and I kind of just decided, I was always go out and buy hot sauces. We all have the standard stuff that's out there on the shelf, but, it was never anything that was all that great. So I decided to start, looking at recipes and putting together my own thing. And I ultimately came up with my original, the habanero peach, which is one of our three flavors. And as I call it, is the original. And I came up with, once I kind of got that recipe down, I would always have a bottle of it at home. People would come over. I'd take it out and they'd say, what's that? I'd tell them about it. They'd try it, and people, really loved it. It was, some heat on the back end, but it was about being flavorful up front, having some really good taste in our habanero peaches, some molasses and peaches and, brown sugar. So you get that sweetness up front, and then you get the heat on the back end. So once people kind of fell in love with that, I started to then, with Amazon coming to the forefront, I was able to order a case of those little woozy bottles and got fancy and would bottle it into bottles and give it to people in little bottles without labels. And that's sort of for 5 to 10 years, it was kind of just making it for me, but then starting to give it to friends and family. And I was getting them, whenever they come over, they're like, I need some more of that. And I'd be like, bring your bottle back and I'll refill it for you. Cause I always have a jug of it in the refrigerator, that would stay for a while. So that's sort of where it all began, and where, how I got into, making hot sauces originally.
That's a really neat story. I like it.
So much experience too.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I love food. I love, to cook. And then what happened is then during the pandemic, my wife got furloughed. Obviously I was, as a lawyer, we were working from home. So we were, not as busy as we always are in the office, and having some extra spare time. She said that, if we're ever going to launch a business, and get people love your hot sauce so much, now's the perfect time. So we started talking about it, and, I kind of realized, looking out in the industry, that having one sauce, the original habanero peach, it's great. It's a good sauce, but it's not going to make much of a business, right? One sauce selling one thing, it's not going to be as big, or, and have as many options for people. So that's when I decided to come up with two other recipes. and started playing around in the in the kitchen, and came up with our other two, the Serrano cilantro and the jalapeno pineapple.
Can you explain the? Oh, go.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask if you could explain or elaborate on the like the creative process for those sauces, like as you were going through them, like how you did your pairings, the science behind it, like what, as the mad scientist, what did you do?
Sure. So I had the habanero peach, and that was because I wanted something spicy when I originally thought about that, and kind of wanted it to have flavor forward. When I decided to do the other two, right now I live in Long Island City, which is right outside of Manhattan. It's across the 59th Street Bridge. So I look out my window, I see the Empire State Building and the whole thing, and that's sort of what played Little Dick's Big Flavor. We also have Big City in there, and if you look at a lot of our postings and a lot of our marketing materials, we put sort of and on our label, you'll see on the left-hand side, it says Big City, Big Flavor, Little Dick's, and it has a picture of a bridge going into the city. There you go. So being outside of the city, obviously we're very mixed community, very ethnic around here. And my local food store that we go to, it's called Food Bazaar. And it's awesome. And the reason being is that you go in there and they basically cater to every ethnicity that kind of lives in the Queens area of New York City. So you have Indian, you have Chinese, you have Korean, you have, all different, all the halal foods. And so when you go into a regular supermarket, you may not see the choices of peppers, and things that you want for hot sauce that you would need. But here, when I decided to expand and go into the other two recipes, I was always able to get habaneros in the supermarket by me. And so I started looking around, and what else was there? Well, there was tons and tons of jalapenos, that's pretty mainstream. But again, being in, a lot of Mexican people around here and Spanish people, jalapenos is sort of a staple in their diets for different sauces they make and things that they cook. So I grabbed a bunch of those. And then what was right next to that was serrano peppers. So tons and tons of fresh serrano peppers. So basically, I was working with what was available to me and what was there. I wanted to use fresh ingredients, and so in addition to the habaneros, I kind of grabbed the other two peppers, and I went, and then starting to research on the Scoville scale. Obviously, those three things, you got the jalapenos, which are the least spicy, and you got the serranos and the habaneros. So it kind of made for a nice selection of different sauces with different heats. So that's kind of where we got the three pepper varieties. And then wanting to have big flavor, we kind of decided that we wanted to pair the peppers up with different, either fruits or different herbs. So whereas we had the habanero peach, we started playing around with the jalapeno, and we started working with pineapple, which brought a really nice sweetness to the sauce, and that's sort of the sweet heat you get, even a lot more sweet than the jalapeno pineapple, the habanero peach. And then we wanted something a little different, and I'm a big fan of cilantro. I love that stuff fresh on tacos and whatever I could put it on, fish. And so that was something I started playing around with. And again, being in a store, I think with the ethnic people around in Queens here, they use a lot of cilantro in their cooking. I'm Italian, so we go more with the Italian parsley. They go with the cilantro, but the cilantro gives a nice herby flavor. And so that's where, so again, all these different ingredients, kind of seeing them in the store, looking around, thinking about what, I want to make these sauces, want them each to have their own individual profile and flavor. We kind of started mixing and matching, brought them home and took out the food processor and started whipping things up.
Hell yeah.
I love the story. I'm loving you describing the journey. It's fantastic.
So that was,
I just imagine just like, yeah, I just imagine like you just like all these different things, and it's just like yeah. There's that GIF of like Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like got the conspiracy theory board behind him. I was just like imagine like chefs and like sauce makers like with just like circles and arrows and everything drawn from like all these different ingredients, the like what pairs, what doesn't pair, and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of taste testing, you know, seeing what tastes good. A couple of things, you blend them up and taste it, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, trial and error. It's got to be trial and error.
It's got to be.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. And that's what, we're working on our next sauces now. And that's what it's going to, be a lot of different testing and trying to go for an ultra hot. So we're working at that. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
But you got to keep things fresh, right? You always got to have something in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But
so pipeline, you're going to get old.
Yeah. So when we finally, we worked out these 3 recipes, I worked a little. I'm a big tequila guy, so the ones you guys are Serrano Cilantro that you guys are going to be trying today has some Reposado tequila in it, and that's kind of a piece of my personality because I'm a big tequila guy. And when I was working with the sauces, I wanted to bring in something like a little smokiness to it almost, and using, you could use the Blanco tequila, which is kind of, you use that when you want to let other flavors come out. But then once you start getting into the Reposados and the Añejos, you're bringing in some smokiness from the barrels that it's aged in. And we were able to do that with the Serrano Cilantro. There's some Reposado tequila in there, which gives it a nice little different flavor. Obviously, people kind of lift their eyebrows. I said, don't worry, it's cooked off. The alcohol cooks off. But but you definitely get the flavor from it in there. So that's another little piece, But try and keep them simple, not get too crazy. My first, the habanero peach has a lot of different spices in it, that cumin, allspice, paprika, that really it gives it that smoking flavor too, from the spices. But the other 2 are much sort of simpler and kind of staying true to either the herbs that are in the Serrano cilantro or in the jalapeno pineapple. You don't have a lot of, you have the garlic, the onion, just your basic vegetables in there that kind of give it a nice flavor, and let the peppers sort of do the talking for you.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of crazy sauces out there these days. You get some guys that are, putting curry, and I'm all for it. I mean, I love, people laugh at me because in my refrigerator, I got tons of different, people's sauces in there, and I'm not shy about saying, I'm not just going to, use my sauce. I want to see what's going on. And people are putting curry in sauces these days. Some guys are putting mushrooms in their sauces. You're getting that umami type of flavors, and some really, truffle. Yeah, that truffle one sauces that everybody's paying an arm and a leg for.
Never forget about the pepper, though. Never, ever forget about the pepper.
No.
Well, that leads beautifully into my next question, which is, if it doesn't have a little Dick's label on it, what other sauce are you using?
Very good question. So believe it or not, I'm a big, I like Frank's, but the Frank's, the hotter ones, for like, when you want a wing sauce and you want something that's really, that has that vinegary flavor to it, I have Frank's. But I've been really, through Instagram, I've gotten into that chili community, which obviously is how I met you guys. And, I try to support other guys. So there's High River Sauces out there, which is Steve Seabury. He actually lives out on Long Island, not too far from me. And he's had a huge impact on me and my company, and kind of how we've progressed from making it in our kitchen to going to a commercial kitchen. And once the demand got so high, we got to a point where we're now, starting to use a co-packer. And I know a lot of guys, are against that. They feel like maybe it takes, your hands out of it. But the guy we use is really, it's all under a non-disclosure agreement. He doesn't make any sauces for himself. He does all third-party sauces. And, I was in the kitchen with him and we went through numerous sampling stages to make sure that, his recipe was my recipe and not something different. And I got a lot, I was able to I think, cut off a number of years in progressing to become sort of someone who can now sell wholesale, and retail, in addition to being, I love Etsy. That's how we have a web page, but it's not an e-commerce site. It's a web page that's a landing page, and then it links to our Etsy store. So if someone wants to buy our sauces online, and we ship all across the country. A lot of it, about half of our business, comes from Etsy, which has been great because they're not taking money from you unless you make a sale, and it's not I try to do this really on a very low budget. Being an attorney and counseling and advising a lot of people on startups, there's a lot of guys who throw a lot of money into a business, and they put a lot of money in and then they end up losing money because if it doesn't work out. I didn't really know where this was going to go. It was for the love of the sauce, and it's really grown organically and slowly, and I'm very happy with how it's going, and we're going to continue to grow it, and hopefully it does even bigger and better things, and we come out with more and more stuff and becomes a household name. But there's a smart way of doing things, and then there's a way, just throwing all your money at it isn't either. So we never incorporated. Whereas, I might tell someone, we just got a business certificate. It's a sole proprietorship, that's actually in my wife's name. So it's a woman-owned business. So we have that angle on it also, where if a lot of companies these days with the diversity requirements, if they see you're a small business owner that's woman owned, you may get a little more preferential treatment than others. So it's Jacqueline Mendaro, my wife, doing business as Little Dick Sauces.
By a woman, I love it.
And then I'm, the front man, and pretty much it's, named after me. And I go out there and do all the sales and marketing and came up with the recipes, but she's behind the scenes and, does all the numbers and, kind of like you say, every good man has a good woman behind him. So she helps out a lot and helps out a lot with the marketing that we develop on Instagram. We try to have a cohesive brand that we're creating, so people see us and they know us. It's not just kind of scattered and and doesn't have an idea behind it. We always want to use our logo, as you see behind me. That's the one thing we spent a little money on, was getting sort of a brand and the labels on our bottles. We used a professional guy. He was a small guy, but he was professional, and he really put the time in, and you could see across some guys, which works, you could put skull heads, and like a Steve Seabury, he has some really cool type of labels and things, but you pick it up and you don't know what type of sauce it is, and you don't know what peppers are in it. Right now, at least for the our three sauces, right, Serrano, cilantro, what you're getting, right? Jalapeno pineapple, habanero peach. I'm thinking about, a next sauce, something like, a ghost pepper pear, maybe something like that.
Okay.
So, so this way, what you're getting. And I feel like people enjoy, appreciate the fact that you can pick it up off the shelf and know what read it and know what you're getting, rather than trying to have it, buy it to try it. So that's sort of where we've been going. Steve Seabury, the High River Sauces. There's some other guys out there on Etsy, small guys I've been, sending sauces to, and they've been exchanging with me. So I have at least 10 or 15 different sauces on my shelf. Back to your question, that's in my refrigerator right now.
That always what you're talking about, you know what you're gonna get. You on the label you have a serrano and you have some cilantro. That always reminds me of the Gerber baby story, where outside of the United States, like a lot of different countries and stuff, what's on the label is what's in it. So like um, if you it's like peas or whatever that's got the image of what's on it, and Gerber baby was wondering why their product, and I don't know if this is fact, but it's one of those internet stories.
Okay.
But Gerber baby food was wondering why they weren't selling well in some countries, and it was because their logo was their face of the baby, and so like people didn't know like what was in it, and like it just wasn't speaking to because it just had the audience. It was like, what the hell why is there a baby on this thing instead of what's typically on their marketing or their branding there.
Sure.
So yeah. And we Hot Sauce Guide came to visit me a couple months ago, and we went to a hot sauce shop in Seattle, and there's like thousands of bottles everywhere, and every bottle is just such like aggressive like branding sometimes with like skulls and like just like it's good to find just some subtlety. You know what you're getting. It's just when there's not just like boobs and skulls and flames and stuff on everything. It's nice to just see something that's just, this is what you're gonna get.
That's
it.
Sometimes.
I mean, I still have difficult. Some people won't. I've tried to get this Christmas, and holiday season. I've tried to get into the corporate world. Like I had so being an attorney, I have a company that I use for court reporting services when we do depositions and stuff. So the guy there that I'm buddies with, he started sending his employees for their employee anniversary, first, second, third anniversary. He'd send them a 3-pack of Little Dicks, which was something different. So I appreciated that. So I went to him in November and said, hey, I'd love for you to consider Little Dick sauces for the holiday season to send to your clients. And so he went back, took it to his company, and they ended up ordering about 75 3-packs from me that I shipped all over to their mostly attorneys and other clients that use their services. And we did a custom look, we got their logo and did a custom insert into the box. So when people opened it, they saw, thank you from TSG reporting. And then they opened it up and saw the 3 bottles of Little Dick sauces. And we packed the box with their green crepe paper that was, matching their logo. And so trying to be smart and how to market, it's fun to be in local supermarkets and stuff, but it's also nice to be able to sell, in larger quantities to people and get them to buy, for different events and things like that.
Taking the skills back from your catering days.
Exactly. And one thing to go back about the label and it being when we were creating the labels, and like you said, you see the pepper and, we wanted something that would sit on the table or the shelf if you went into a store to buy it and looked aesthetically pleasing, didn't have, like you said, some of the anatomy. I mean, the name we have is enough, I guess. You didn't need to put, there are some other, I won't mention the names, but there's other dicks out there, in the hot sauce industry that are, do different things. But my goal, a lot of people say, what's your goal? Right now we have our 3 original sauces that when we launched, is to replace ketchup, mustard, and mayo with, Little Dick's 3 sauces sitting there as a daily condiment, right? You use one as ketchup, one as mayo, one as mustard, and they're meant to be all flavor forward with heat on the back end and to complement and enhance your food, not cover it up and make you, want to grab a glass of milk to get rid of the heat.
Yeah. Well, then going off script right now, I'm going to put you on the spot. What if you're replacing mayo, ketchup, mustard, what do you put your 3 sauces on? What do you, the creator, suggest that all 3 of your sauces go on?
Okay, so let's start with the original habanero peach. That one is, I describe it and people told me it's like a spicy barbecue sauce almost. So it has that sweetness, like I said, of the peaches and the molasses up front. So it's more of a savory sauce or compared to the other two green sauces that we have. So that one goes really well with steak and pork chops. That's I love it on something that's like really meaty and a nice steak, or we eat a lot of hanger steak, the strips of hanger, and just take that off the grill and put the sauce on there. You can put it on a burger, if you have a cheeseburger, instead of putting ketchup, put that habanero peach on there, and it gives it a really nice, flavor, and then gives you that little bit of habanero kick afterwards. For the Serrano cilantro, that one is it's got a different. Whereas the habanero, I've had people say to me that the Serrano cilantro is hotter than the habanero peach, and as we all know, the habanero is clearly a hotter pepper than the Serrano pepper. However, it's a completely different profile, and what happens is that the Serrano cilantro hits the front of your tongue, and like it's very tangy and tasty, and and you taste the heat of it more up front, whereas the habanero peach, you get the sweetness up front, and then it sneaks up on you after a few seconds. But the Serrano cilantro one is actually awesome on eggs, whether it's an omelet or scrambled eggs or poached eggs. I go by a little, if you have like a burrito, like an egg burrito, a chorizo and egg burrito, amazing with that. Then it also goes really good on grilled chicken, more of your lighter type of meats, and you could also put it on fish too. And then that takes us into the third sauce, which is the jalapeno pineapple, which is our sweet heat. You get the sweetness of the pineapple, and then you get a little bit of the kick of the jalapeno. I always let people who say I don't want something too spicy try that one. They always love it. I've never had anyone say any of my sauces are too hot. If anything, they want something, someone that wants it hotter. So I really, take it upon myself when people come to the table, a tasting table, that they can try all three of them, even if there's someone who isn't used to super hot stuff. And like I said, it's more about the flavor of the sauce and then giving you a little heat on the back end. And thank God I've never had anyone, sort of like spit it out or say this is too damn hot. Yeah. And that's okay with me. I don't need to be there. There's plenty of other guys out there that'll, knock your socks off and be on hot ones and stuff. But we're really trying to, give you something that has a great flavor to it. Oh, and so, I'm sorry. The jalapeno pineapple goes great on shrimp tacos. Goes really good with nachos. That one chicken also. I like that on grilled shrimp and shrimp tacos is my favorite for the jalapeno. I actually had a piece of swordfish tonight, and and I had the jalapeno pineapple on that one. And here, I'll give you guys a little. Let's see here if it'll come up on the every night. I'm always looking for new content, so let's see if we can get this on the camera. But there's my grilled swordfish.
Oh, there you go.
With some jalapeno pineapple and a little couscous. So
nice.
We live in New York City, but I got a big grill on my terrace out here, so we're always grilling every night, which is nice.
First time shrimp tacos has been recommended by one of the interviewees. I love it. Okay, I'm definitely trying that sauce. I'm definitely going to place an order.
Awesome.
For sure. So, Hot Sauce God, is it time?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. This is our favorite part. This is our absolute favorite part. And so, normally, we all when Hot Sauce Guy first started this, and he would pull out these like big ass spoons and just pour so much sauce on it. We made fun of him because we're like, dude, you're gonna hurt yourself one day when you just drink half a bottle in one sitting while you're doing a review. But now we have to honor him, and so I get a spoon every time and make sure that I do it with him. When he visited me a couple months ago, he forced me to review sauces with him, and I had to go one for one, and so my ego wouldn't allow me not to not to get a spoon equal size and consume as much as the sauce. Even though my tolerance is not comparable to his, this man can just eat anything, and it's just like, and I'm just a baby when it comes to anything. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
And I'm a heathen, and I always put it in a shot glass.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Slug.
Okay.
And you notice I don't put any of those little plastic, in the beginning I would
Stopper.
get those little plastic things on top.
Mm-hmm.
No more.
There you go.
I always take those right off. So
All right, let's.
I had
Save-
people
save
actually
me the
call,
trouble.
reach out to me and be like, complain about it because the stuff wouldn't, the peppers with chunkiness would get stuck in it. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
they just pop off, man. You could just take it off. And they're like, oh.
It's not titanium.
All right, ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right, here we
Let's do
go.
it.
3,
Cheers.
2, 1, and down. That is delicious. That is absolutely delicious. Definitely taste the oh man. I'll be clear.
Go, be clear.
I'm not the biggest cilantro guy.
No.
I'm not.
I hate it. I hate cilantro. I can't wait for the
But-
time I get to dog a sauce, but this ain't it.
Yeah,
And a lot of people tell me that they
delicious.
want to stay away from the cilantro. I say, just trust me, try it. It's not.
No,
It has that herbiness, but it's not. It's for some reason it's not. Like that same taste of the cilantro. I think because it gets cooked down, and like I said, there's a tequila in there with some onion and garlic, so it all really melds nicely.
It's very fresh.
This is very good.
That's
This
it.
is
Very
fantastic.
Fresh from New York City.
I got a little grilled chicken here that I'm about to dip in this.
Nice.
Yeah, I almost wanna get like tacos tonight and put some on here.
I know I just had eggs
this
this
is
morning,
good.
and I always want to try the new sauce before we get to the podcast, but I always save it. But now I'm really regretting not throwing some of this on my egg sandwich this morning.
I'm eating more.
I feel like I'm hot sauce guy. I've already taken a solid third of the bottle out already. Rich, this is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys like
I
it.
do like that herbal or a citrus to a fish, so I can imagine this would be great on a fish or a shrimp taco.
Definitely.
Heck, this might be good on just beef tacos or carnitas. I'm excited to put this on. I have not had a hot sauce that goes on tacos in a long time. And this is probably the first one besides my secret aardvark, which is just my favorite table sauce. I can't get over it. We have so many good sauces here, but I just seem to always be stuck in a rut. And when it comes time to eat tacos or my eggs, I always go back to the secret aardvark. But now I think I finally have a taco hot sauce in Little Dick's.
Nice.
Take another shot.
So you see how it's definitely hits the front of your tongue. This one gives you the tanginess.
Absolutely.
You get the heat pretty quick with this one, because it's right up front there. But again, not super hot. It's our 3 out of 5. But again, those weren't based. The spice level was more based on the fact that the habanero was the hottest pepper, so that was the 4. The 3 was the serrano, and the jalapeno was the 2. Which leaves me room, for something if I ever wanted to do like a salsa or something up, as a 1, and as I said, do an ultra hot as a 5.
For sure.
Yeah, I like
No, I was just gonna say that the big flavor, the tagline is definitely accurate. It's you. There is the heat, and there's the heat that gets you, and it comes in there. But it's really about the flavor, and it has a very, very good flavor. It's not overpowering in one way or the other. It's just good mouthfeel, good taste. It's just a good sauce.
A good pour.
Yeah,
That's the quickest I've ever finished a hot sauce shot.
And I was gonna say, yeah, it's big on flavor, but it's simple and it pairs well with a lot of food. So you're not where some hot sauces are almost its own food group, just because it has so many different things going on. This complements food really well.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
So this is just to show you guys. Like I know we didn't have any visuals. You guys just have the serrano cilantro. but we kind of keep it rustic, and this is like how we kind of package our
Ooh, I like
3-pack in a simple, brown box. We put them in there with some brown paper, and we do that.
Awesome.
And then for the holidays, we've been doing a little
Oh, nice.
happy
nice.
holidays there. And when you open this one up, you kind of got your little, as I said, the red
with
green
like
paper.
That's
And,
good. That's
One of
that's
you
really
got
cool.
that because he sent them to me, and then I used the original box to send it to one of you guys.
Probably, I think it might have been me. I think it was
I
me.
think it was. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what are your plans for the future? So, have you actively started working on that ultra hot, or is it still just like in the uh-oh
so let's see here. We'll give you a little preview to show you
Okay.
how far I've gotten so far.
Okay.
No one else has seen this yet. So here we have a Reaper. That's a Reaper puree right there. Then we have a ghost pepper puree.
Okay.
We have a scorpion pepper puree.
Okay.
Play around
Slow
with.
the brakes, boss. Slow the brakes. He ain't done. He wants to go back up.
Then we got a 7-pot mash here. And we got I don't know if you've ever heard from in Florida, they do the fatale pepper.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a fatale mash. So
very citrusy.
I've gotten as far as getting these mashes and purees from, my the guy I work with. So it makes it a lot easier then to replicate and make it, on a larger scale. And again, there's guys, I consider myself a sauce maker, but at some point, if you really want to, I talk to guys and they want to, they ask me about my story and they heard a lot of what you guys heard tonight. And then, they'll start saying about how they're having growing pains and, they're ordering all this glass and they don't have room. And I'm like, sounds like, maybe time for a co-packer. No, I don't want to do that. But at some point you're either, are you a sauce maker or are you a sauce seller, and this frees, it's fun to now create, but then ultimately when I get my recipe, you can, as long, you got to be lucky enough. I was lucky enough to get Steve Seabury to introduce me to the right guy, and I didn't have to go through any bumps in the road. I'm sure there's guys out there that'll screw you, that try to use cheap product, that, make something that you're not proud of, and then you're putting your label on it. But here it's literally, as close as can be. And these guys, instead of me making, 3-4 cases at a time, he makes it in a kettle, which is 150 cases at a time, basically. And he has an 8 filler, with the woozy bottles from beginning to end. And it's, and he's invested in the equipment to do that. And, and it frees me up to sort of go out. And then once I get that inventory to go out and sell and market and share share my passion with hot sauce with the world, then these other guys that, they want to just keep their finger on every little thing that they do. And I appreciate that. And there definitely is, respect for that and wanting to keep it in your control. And sometimes it does get too big, and you lose that quality. But I still consider myself, I've only now made my 3 different batches one time, my 3 different sauces one time with him. So he made a kettle full, and it made 150 cases of each. And I'm proud to say, since that was back in August, and I'm almost done with that, from going out and selling. So it's time in the new year to order some more and get a fresh batch and keep it fresh and go out and sell and share with everybody and add a new sauce to it. So it's it's a fun process, and you got to, it's a little bit of risk taking and investment, and obviously it costs money to make that much sauce. And you have to go out there and market and sell yourself and get people to believe in you. And the sauce you guys just tasted, so it was because our success story was the Serrano. So I sent Fuego Box. I reached out to them, and they're pretty much, you don't get to talk to anybody, but they send you an email and they say, sure, we'll try your sauces. Send us your sauces. We have, tasting parties every, whenever we get around to it, every month or whatever. And if we like your sauce, we'll let you know. So I sent them my 3-pack and, didn't hear anything for a while. And then right before I was ready to do my first run with my co-packer, they reached out and they said, hey, we tasted all your sauces. We loved them all. In particular, we love your Serrano cilantro, and we'd love to, feature the Serrano cilantro in one of our single and 3-pack subscription services online, if you guys are familiar with Fuego Box. So they said, please give us pricing on their minimum requirement, though, is that you got to give them 4,000 bottles. They buy 4,000 bottles from you.
Okay.
So again, for a small guy, so they say, give us your pricing and your lead time, how much lead time you need. So I was lucky enough. It was like literally in a couple of weeks before that I just was able to add on 2 extra kettles of the Serrano, and I was able to make, and sell them 4,000 bottles as my first like big order of when I started to do the co-packer. Otherwise, I would have never been able to sell to them, because to make 4,000 bottles would have been impossible.
Wow. That's that like synchronicity of like time and how everything worked out. That's pretty cool.
I'm hoping to get them, to consider my other sauces. They usually take like a year. They go back and they'll do your other sauces, but they like to spread it out, over a year or so. There's some good people. I met them at the Hot Sauce Expo up here in New York, and they're nice people, and they have a really cool business going there. But you imagine that every sauce that you see in their boxes, they're buying 4,000 bottles. So they must have a nice subscription service going.
Yeah.
Profit to give out, most certainly.
Yeah.
Speaking of must be nice, there's a hot sauce convection. Yeah.
Right. And then you're not making as much profit. You got to negotiate with them on pricing. If you think you're going to, get your $6, $7, $8, $9 a bottle, it's not happening. But you're selling 4,000 bottles to them. So even if you made $1 a bottle on it, you're still making hypothetically, you make more than that. But it's So that's the kind of things you got to think about as you're growing and expanding, and and then there's guys bigger than me. Steve Seabury's starting to be in all over the country, and he's doing his hot sauce expos all over the country. I mean, he was sort of one of the original guys, and like I said, I always get on the phone with him at least once a year and kind of trade stories with him, and he's been nice enough to share some information with me and help me grow quicker than I otherwise would have.
I think Slug was going to ask you, but are you planning on going to Fiery Food Festival at all in Albuquerque, New Mexico this year for their?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a little far. I mean, I enjoyed going to the New York one. I did last year send my sauces in for for their competition. I think that was it got delayed, and then they had it late at some point, but I sent them in. I wasn't lucky enough to place in any of them, but I'll always try and again participate and support all these different shows and expos that they put out there, and get the sauces get the sauces a little more exposure. But even with local a lot of people do local markets, for sales and go around. Because I'm an attorney and I'm working in Manhattan, and I go into New York City every day, Monday through Friday, and my wife now is back to work full time. I pretty much have 2 jobs. Whatever orders come in on Etsy that day, I come home and I have all my packing stuff here, and I got to start packing orders. And I'm lucky enough, I live in a building in New York City here with a doorman. So what that means is that UPS and the US Post Office and FedEx all come here every day. So when I pack up my orders every night, I just go downstairs at like 10, 11 at night, hand it off to my doorman, and they hold it. And then when the guys come the next day, they just take whatever orders I have. And even with these, I brought down the other night about 40 boxes, and they put it in a big bin, and they hand it off to the guys. So that makes my life a little easier, not having to run to the post office or to a carrier to ship my sauces out.
Yeah,
absolutely. So how many hours a week have you been putting into Little Dick's?
This time of year, probably I'd say 15, 20 hours, every 15 hours, because every night it's been a couple of hours. But, after the new year, I'm sure things will kind of get a little slower again. Not as many gifts going out. But, I'm putting, now that it's pretty cool. It's kind of, snowballing and running itself now. Like I said, I'm focusing more on getting introductions to distributors and wholesalers, and I rather sell to them larger quantities, 20, 30, 40 cases of each, and let them go to the smaller stores and do it. So you're giving up, you're getting less profit per bottle, but you're selling more, so it all kind of evens out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an everyday affair. It's I gotta sometimes force myself to put it down. I love it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I like picking up the phone, and I'm your consummate salesman. I don't give up if I contact all these home delivery services. Avo we have by us, and I haven't gone to Amazon. I don't know if I want to get that big. I've heard some nightmare stories about selling on Amazon, and yeah, that would be great. To be fulfilled by Amazon, but I don't know. We'll see. That's something, depends how much we grow, but I haven't gone down that road yet. I'd rather keep it sort of specialty and gourmet and small if I can, and have it to grow organically rather than just trying to throw it out there at these big behemoth, box stores and online retailers.
Keep that little touch that you're still using the co-packer, but you still have that personalized touch, and I think that's really important.
Again, this isn't, like I said, if I make sauce 2-3 times a year with the co-packer, it's still not the Franks and all these other guys. I mean, they're running lines, and vinegar water going 24 hours a day. When I use the co-packer, I go down there, I oversee the production. I'm friends with the guy, and it's not like someone else is sort of making my sauces for me. I'm still making them. It's just that I'm using him. I'm almost paying to use his facility, and he's overseeing everything. So that's what he says when you go there. He's like, the first time I was there, I was like, hey man, could I take this off the line? It was like cool. It was like seeing all how things were bottled and the production line. And he's like, this is yours. This is yours for the day. This is your plant today. You're paying for it, so do whatever you want to do. So it's really just bringing it to the next level.
Before I let Boss Man finish this up here and wrap it up, I pride myself in asking the hard-hitting questions, the controversial questions. So you already showed us all the mashes. What is this? Can you name a pepper that will never be put into your bottles? Is there a pepper out there that you think is overrated and just not worth its weight in stems?
I would never put. Well, I'm never gonna, Pepper X is never going into my bottles. I'm not gonna get that hot. So
okay. So you're all about the flavor, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't even know, I mean, these are pretty hot ones I got here. So, I don't know. It's going to be fun to see how, how this kind of all comes out. I literally haven't even opened up these bottles yet. Probably won't till after the holidays because we've been real busy packing orders. But it's definitely still going to be flavor forward. I got to meet at the New York City Hot Sauce Expo. I met Ed. Was it Ed Currie, the inventor of the Carolina Reaper from Pucker Butt?
Yeah,
he's the inventor of Pepper X, and I have I think I have a chocolate bar in my refrigerator that's made with Pepper X that, you can only have a slither of it, at a time. Otherwise it kills you. So yeah, those really, really hot one. I think like a Ghost or a Reaper is probably like the hottest I'm gonna probably work with ever. But these guys who are, in the labs, cross cross germinating and doing whatever they do to get these, super hot peppers. I'll leave it to them, and then to these other these other sauce makers to make these super, super hot ones that looking to kick people's shoes off of their feet.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. It's been a lot of fun kind of hearing your story and trying the sauce. I know it's different for me. With all of our guests, I've pretty much tried the sauces that we sample, but for these guys, I think it's all been something new each time. So it's kind of fun to see their reaction and what they think of some of the sauces that I've enjoyed. So, um, but yeah, normally Turk does this part, but take it away.
Okay, basically, it's just if you've seen Hot Ones or whatever, this is like this is it. This is the crowning jewel. We're workshopping our phrase and how we're gonna say it or whatever. My fiance goes through a list every time she hears me ask this question. She's like, "It's so cringy." Just basically like let us know like where to find you, what your social media handles are, if someone wanted to purchase your sauces, what they needed to do to find you, and this is your moment to shine.
All right, so Little Dick Sauces. If you go to littledicksauces.com, one word, make sure you put the 2 S's in there between dicks and sauces. That takes you to our webpage. Like I said, it's a landing page. You'll see a button that says buy sauces here. You click on that and it'll take you right to our Etsy storefront. In the Etsy storefront, we sell all of our sauces. We sell them individually. Our most popular is the 3-pack. We do 3 for $25. If people want to mix and match, if they just, once they try them, if they want 3 habanero peach, just drop me a note with the order and I'll be happy to give you 3 or whatever you want, for the $25. We ship all over the country. We don't do international yet, but I've been getting a lot of people asking about that, but not yet. So anywhere. We just had our first order a couple of weeks ago, go to Hawaii. So that was pretty cool. Still in the U.S. And yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook. We do daily posts. Me interact, does daily posts. My wife helps me create the content. And the handle for both of those are at Little Dick Sauces. One word, Little Dick Sauces. So again, everything, littledicksauces.com or Little Dick Sauces on both Instagram and Facebook. And you could see all of our posts. I try and post food pictures. I always encourage all of our customers and friends to text me. In every order, I include my business card, that's the front, but on the back, it gives you our email address, which is littledicksauces@gmail.com. So you could see a theme going here, Little Dick Sauces under everything. And then, basically that's my cell phone number, 516-650-1080. You text me pictures and I'm happy to post them and share with people, or you can DM me and tag me. And I always, put them in our story and repost a lot of stuff. And I appreciate everybody out there in the Chili family that that gives a yell out to Little Dicks here and there. I know George's Hot Sauce is out there. I'm really good friends with George and a bunch of other guys out there that are really trying to keep everybody happy with their hot sauces and keep the industry, real and true and upstanding. And so we all have a lot of fun and can do stuff like this on a daily basis, because it's great to talk to people and share our, our enthusiasm for spicy good stuff out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ever since we started doing this has become one of my favorite things. I look forward to when we book another episode. This community is really awesome, and we've had a lot of fun doing this. So, and we really appreciate your time and you giving us a little bit of your time to hang out and hear your story. And I know we appreciate it. So thank you very much.
I'm inspired. You got to be the bravest man in the game, because the difference between Little Dick Sauce and Dick's Sauce, oh man, that's a nightmare. And you're just out there, you're going for it. And I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate it. That's why you have to give out the business card, to be honest, because you can't just hope that someone's going to find you with the double S's. They drop one S and that's a nightmare. But thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Thank you, Slug. Nice meeting you, man. You too, Turk.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much. All right. We'll sign on. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Talking Heat. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information, visit talkingheat.com.